She was simply going to have to do it herself. Really though, the wind was a menace. She had made the decision about the western lawn before it started up. She had forgotten this was the less sheltered side of the garden. But Isabel had a stubborn streak. She'd been like it all her life. A sage friend once told her that people didn't change as they aged. They merely became older and sadder. The first she'd figured she couldn't do much about, but Isabel had been determined not to permit the latter. Thankfully, she was, by nature, a very positive person. It was only that the windy days brought with them agitation. They did lately anyway. She was sure she hadn't always felt this turbulence within her belly. Once, in a different lifetime, she'd been known for having nerves of steel. Now, she was as likely to be overtaken with a sudden surge of alarm from nowhere. A sense that she was standing alone on the surface of life, and it felt as fragile as glass. Breathing helped. She wondered whether she needed a tincture or tea. Something to settle her thoughts, so she could at least sleep. She'd even considered a doctor, but not Maud McKendry's husband in the main street. God forbid. However she did it, Isabel was going to put things right. That was the other New Year's resolution she'd made, although she kept it to herself. She was giving herself one more year to regain her equilibrium. People were depending on her, and it was time. She would turn 38 at her next birthday, practically 40, a greater age than either her father or mother ever reached. Perhaps that was why she had been overcome lately with memories from her childhood. It was as if sufficient time had passed that she could turn around and see it with clarity across the vast ocean of time. She could barely remember crossing that ocean. It was ridiculous to feel lonely. She had lived in this house for 14 years. She was surrounded by more family than she'd ever had. God knew she couldn't escape the children if she tried. And yet there was times when she felt terror at her own desolation, the gnawing sensation of having lost something she could not name, and therefore could not hope to find. Down on the curve of the driveway, something moved. She strained to see. Yes, someone was coming. It wasn't her imagination. A stranger, a bushranger, sweeping up the driveway on his horse, straight out of a Banjo Paterson poem. It was the postman, she realized, as the brown paper-wrapped parcel he was carrying came into focus. On New Year's Day! One of the virtues of living in a small country town where everyone knew each other's business was service outside usual hours, but this was exceptional. A flame of excitement flared inside her, and her fingers turned to thumbs as she tried to tie the bunting so she could get down to intercept the delivery. She hoped it was the order she'd written away for some weeks ago. Her liberation. She hadn't expected to arrive so soon. But it was maddening. The string was tangled, and the wind was teasing it around the flags. Isabel struggled and cursed beneath her breath, glancing over her shoulder to observe the postman's progress. She didn't want her package delivered to the house. As he reached the nearest bend of the driveway, Isabel knew she would have to let go of the string if she were to scramble down the ladder in time. She vacillated for a moment and then called out, "Hello," and waved. "I'm over here."